Varsity Club, we are back with another classic video, but our season didn't exactly end how we wanted it to last episode. To go toe-to-toe with a really tough Seattle team, and at the very end of the game, give up a touchdown because, well, went for the blitz and it did not pay off. You might say that we looked like the Jets when they pressed the Raiders and gave up a touchdown. It is what it is though. Water under the bridge. It is time for the NFL draft in the offseason to retool this team, make a run for that Super Bowl again. Before we jump into that though, the 2023 Pro Bowl lineup. So Rashawn Dorsett and Lamar Jackson are your quarterback number 1 and quarterback number 2 on opposing sides. See Washington, Joe Burrow, Will Hall, who was one of the rookies that came up a couple of years ago. Baker Mayfield, Thad Lindley gets the halfback number 1 spot, beating out Ezekiel Elliott and Christian McCaffrey. If we go down here, Steven Sims, a guy we may have traded, is the number 1 wide receiver. So I guess we kind of, in theory, messed up there. We didn't have a wide receiver. Our goal next year is to get a wide receiver there. Love to get a tight end there as well. We didn't get a tight end there either. Offensive line, we got Ali Marpet. And really, that's essentially it. We're not really, we have Brandon Scherf. Okay, I'm wrong. We have Scherf, but as you know, our offensive line is not really our strong suit. No defensive ends here on the left side. On the right side, nothing. Defensive tackles, we're, not seeing anybody there as well. We're struggling a little bit here. I'm not really seeing anybody on defense. I'm feeling like we got disrespected a little bit. No one? Not a single person on defense? Maybe Trey Sanders if he hadn't been hurt the entire season, but I'm disgusted. I really am. The Super Bowl came down between the Seattle Seahawks and the Buffalo Bills, and the team we lost to, the Seahawks, actually end up winning the game by 3 points. Josh Allen had a pretty solid game. Russell Wilson didn't throw a touchdown, got sacked once. On the ground, Chris Carson had not one but 2 touchdowns for them, and Isaiah Lipton comes in with an additional touchdown, so that really won the game for them. If we take a look at the retirements here, a couple of names that really pop out to us here. Okafor, Earl Thomas finally retires, Mike Pouncey, Tannehill. Some big names are definitely retiring. JJ Watt was in Cincinnati. He retired, as well as Geno Atkins, who apparently didn't have an NFL team. Alshon Jeffrey retires. David Castro, Malcolm Jenkins. I mean, Gronk finally retires, maybe for the last time, and McCarthy retired, and Cowboys fans all across the world rejoice. Now, right before the offseason officially begins, we can have one last chance to try to re-sign some of our players, and well, some of these dudes weren't really happy with us, so we're going to try to get a much better deal going. We're going to give Jonathan Allen a whole lot more money. It's 2 years, 22 and pretty much $500,000. Please sign. Thank God. We got one. Also, there's Connor Williams. There's Duvernay Tardif. And really, outside of that, I don't care about the rest of the guys. The other big ones we have to figure out here are going to be Brandon Scherf or Kendall Fuller. I mean, we tried to get Fuller. He didn't want to sign with us at all. We had the same issue with Brandon Scherf. Kendall Fuller is a major player, but getting an offensive lineman might be a little bit more tough. Scherf is a little bit older. I think we franchise him, keep the offensive line in a good spot for Dorsett, and then in free agency, we try to get Kendall Fuller, or if there's somebody else at free safety that we see, we go after them. I'm just a little salty about that, so Brandon Scherf, we're going to franchise him. That limits our options severely. And then for Connor Williams, we're going to offer him 2 years, $13 million total. I feel like that should be good enough to get him, and we get him back. So we're going through free agency right now, but before I show you that, we got to reach out from our assistant GM saying, I'll look at some of our salary cap options, and I came across that in his name. He's looking for a new contract, not sure it's worth it. He barely played last year. I think he's worth keeping around long term. Madden, fix this. He is one of the most important players on our team. Years of what? Of course, yeah, I'm gonna pick up his 5th-year option. You dummy. Free agency is officially done, and I think we did pretty solid here. Also, we need to look at what we got. Mitchell Schwartz on a 1-year deal. He's 34. He's going to play one last year and probably retire. We need him on the right side of our line because we're bad there. We got Chase Claypool at wide receiver because how could I not take a gamble on him? No one offered him a contract, so I did. Up next, we got Sean Lane, a kicker from Alabama. I looked at this man's speed. He's 88 speed. Might be a fake field goal or 2 in our future. We'll figure that one out. We also have Tedrick Thompson because obviously we couldn't get our boy Mr. Fuller back. He went elsewhere. You'll see that in a second. And then lastly, Craig Kirkpatrick. We haven't had a fullback ever. It's about time we get one. So look at the league really quickly. Fletcher Cox is still playing in the NFL at some point. He goes to Carolina. Stephon Gilmore goes to the Jets. Ngakoue goes to New Orleans. Kendall Fuller goes to Baltimore. Imagine that. So he just goes a little bit further. Trent Williams goes to the Raiders. Jalen Reagor goes to the Panthers as well. Von Miller still playing, goes to the Falcons. Grant Delpit is a guy that I threw a ton of money at. Actually, more money than what he got here with the Bucks. And he still said no. To highlight some other ones, J.K. Dobbins goes to New Orleans. DeAndre Swift goes to the Raiders. Both of those teams cleaned up pretty nicely here. Antoine Winfield Jr. goes to the Patriots. You see Maurice Hurst go to the Vikings. Chanel Jr. goes to the Patriots. Again, the Patriots did really well this year. D.D. Westbrook, more speed over to Kansas City. T. Higgins goes to the Jets. Jordan Howard goes to the Bills. Parker, again, you can see where a lot of these big names went. There were some that I wanted to throw a gamble at or two, but not all of them really were interested in coming our way. We did okay though. There was a lot of talk about how open Terry McLaurin gets, but Terry McLaurin in the offseason was not happy with our team. We're not getting him the ball enough. He thinks he's a true number one, which I think he ultimately is. But there's some talent in this draft that I want to try to get that will ultimately replace him, give us a cheaper contract, and allow us an open door for something later on. Sorry, Terry, you're gone. We've also had OJ Howard on the roster, and he's been clutch in some situations, but we have some guys behind him that can play and complement Bronco Barnett really, really well. But we also need a corner. That's pretty apparent. When Trey Sanders went down, we had nobody to cover DK Metcalf, and we lost our bid at the Super Bowl because of that. So, because of that, Davis III is coming over to our way. We're sending over OJ Howard and our 4th round draft pick, which we just got in that trade for him. So what breaks my heart right now is that we traded up for the 7th pick overall. We couldn't get the number 6 pick, and I think we just found out why. The Pittsburgh Steelers just took the guy we wanted, Abdul Bartel. So part of our plan worked, but well, part of it didn't. I gotta admit, I don't love the options we have at drafting at our current spot, and I don't want to overvalue a player and then be mad that I overvalue them. So for what it's worth, we're trading our pick back to Cleveland. Cleveland will give us a 2025 1st round draft pick and a 2025 2nd round draft pick. That's at least value we could use to trade for something if we need to. Look, I gotta be honest with you, not the most stacked draft in the world. It was okay, it was not great. There were some people that we got that were okay, but this is not one that's going to have any major impact players. But it is what it is. We got Kevin Platt, a center, in the 1st round at a 76 overall. We traded our 2nd round draft picks. We got to the 3rd round, picked up LaMichael Rushing, a 70 overall wide receiver, good speed for him. We'll work on the other stuff as well. Ben Gannon is a right guard at LSU, 67 overall. We get Rashard Shelton, a fullback, because, you know, we're trying to see what we got there. 66 overall for him. Could be a solid player, good strength. We'll ultimately find out how if he makes the roster. Clark St. Clair, a left guard in the 6th round, a 66 overall. And then our lowest draft pick is our 7th round guy, Benji Stoudemire. Great name, just not exactly a great overall. Call me crazy, but I really wanted Abdul Bartel. We gave up our right tackle, our starting right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz, for Abdul Bartel. He better be good. The Giants are absolutely crazy, and they just gave us a right tackle in Clifton Moreau for Jaron Christian Sr. I'm not mad at it. I'll take it. For those who want to know why I went out there to get Bartel, well, 1, I wanted to get some, you know, free agency space for next offseason. I think there's some big players coming. But 2, 92 speed, 96 acceleration, 77 catching, short route solid, medium route solid. Deep route is a 90, and spectacular catch are a 93. Those 2 things, 90, 93 beside one another. That's why we went out there to get this kid. I believe in him. I think he can be a big time player. If you also look at his dev traits over there on the left-hand side, he's got aggressive possession, right after the catch, fights for the yards. He's predictable, so from a contract scenario, he should be okay. And he is a high motor. I believe in Abdul. And one of the last trades we're gonna make this offseason is for Levi Fryer of the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, I get it. We gave up a lot, but think about what we just did here. In the 2024 draft, one we just had, a lot of those draft picks we ultimately traded for people or draft picks in 2025. Now, we took the 2025 draft picks, a 1st rounder, which we had 2 of, a 2nd rounder, which we had 4 of, and a 2025 3rd rounder, which we had 2 of, and we turned that into an impact player. There was not a player good as Levi Fryer, and we just got him. That's a job well done. Something I realized we never actually looked at was Levi Fryer's ultimate rating. So 6 foot, 206 pounds, got a star depth trait, so off to a pretty good start there. 86 speed, not the fastest guy, but 92 zone coverage. My safeties are pretty much 90% of the time going to be in zone coverage. His man coverage is kind of duty, but I kind of expect that. 90 pursuit, 91 hit power. I need a dude back there that's going to lay the boom on receivers when they come across the middle. And this dude, he's going to do just that. So with all of that work being done, a lot of different moving pieces, we retooled in a lot of different areas. Here's what our team ultimately looks like. Left tackle is going to be Towns at a 75, Marpet at an 89 for left guard. We have Platt, our new rookie center, taking over for Chase Rouillet, who we're going to try to offload his contract sometime soon. Brandon Scherf in his one-year deal, Clifton Moreau, our newly acquired right tackle, and Bronco Barnett as our starting tight end, with Mr. Glover as the backup. And remember, he did pretty good. We saw him last time, so he's not a bad backup. At quarterback, no one shocked for Sean Dorsett. At running back, the best player on our team by far, Thad Lindley. We have Kirkpatrick as our starting fullback. We have 2 fullbacks in the roster. Again, we'll figure that out later. And then our number 1 wide receiver is Michael Gallup. Number 2 is Deontay Arnold. Number 3 is Abdul Bartel, who actually went up 1 overall in the preseason. And then the number 4 guy is going to be Chase Claypool, who I imagine will be a monster in the red zone. On defense, there's a lot to be happy about. Most of our guys came back, but we actually got better in a couple of areas despite losing some people. Levi Fryer, I think, will be an impact guy, fits our scheme. Jamison Biddle might win Defensive Player of the Year the way he finished last season. Glenn Walls is a stud. Sean Dion Hamilton has done everything we've asked him to and more. We got John Meekins, an absolute beast. Down here, we have Trey Sanders returning, finally healthy, as our starting corner. We have Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Chase Young, and then Mr. Davis III. I feel good about how we are starting out, and our corners are, pretty deep as well. Something that's really interesting to me, though, Trey Sanders actually lost his superstar dev trait during Super Bowl week. We're going to see if we can get that back for him, but the fact that he lost that, it's kind of scary. So, I mean, he's still a really highly rated player at 87 overall. I'm assuming he gets up a little bit more, he'll be fine, but his ability still, he has Unfakeable, he has Deep Route KO, but I'm surprised he lost that depth trait. We need that back. So there is your look at what our team is going to look like in 2024. Things got a little sour with how we ended our last season, and I want to come back full strength, keeping these guys healthy, and just have depth across the board, especially on defense. Again, the draft wasn't super crazy, but I am proud that we flipped a lot of our 2024 draft picks into 2025 assets and then turned those into some big players through some trades. Did we give up a little bit more than we need to? Sure, but our window to win is now. I got to maximize that. As always, if you enjoyed this series and you want to see the next game coming up soon, leave a thumbs up in the video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment down below. Catch you guys in the next episode. It'll be a spicy one.